Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Train Sim World 5 video. You join us on the rather old and dated now Northern Trans-Pennine route. We're here at Stalybridge and we're going to be heading over to Huddersfield. We've got absolutely loads of oil behind us. I mean, how much do we weigh? We are, hang on, where is it? It used to take you to the 1,237 tonnes behind us, and we're going up the main part. Basically, we're going up the steep part of the route, and we've only got a class 45, so this is going to be a challenge potentially. But let's get the train set up. It's been months since I've last driven the, maybe even a year or so since I last drove the. Or coming up to a year since I last drove this loco. Let's get the AWS on. Yeah, there we go, thank you. What we got? Route indicator. I think that's it for this one. Yeah, so it's just that. Key on. Key is there. Master key on. Set that to engine only. We'll start releasing the brakes. As they'll be coming off slowly behind us. There you've got the T-tankers. These are the old school T-tankers, but you can also get them on Cargo Line Volume 1, sort of the modern era T-tankers. But yeah, here we are. Right, brakes are coming off slowly. I set that to forward. We'll start applying a little bit of power just as we are on an uphill gradient. And yeah, I believe we are non-stop to Huddersfield. Yeah, so we've got about 16 miles. I said it would be about half hour. It's been quite a long time since I've driven this route, so speed limit wise, should be okay though. Actually, hang on, what brake mode are we on? Because there's two different. Ah, that's why. There's two different brake modes for this. There's the hang on, train. Bear with. Let's flick that over, because I think it defaults to. Yeah, it defaults to passenger on here. If we can get it to goods. There you go, air brake goods. Right, there we go. Let's try that again now. I should now get moving. Hopefully. Should be air brakes on those. I don't think it'll be vacuum. It's going to take a bit of oomph to get going in this. There we go. I was thinking about it. Come on, train. You can do it. Signaler's probably wondering what on earth are they doing? They're not moving. There we go. Yeah, so good lesson. Try it. Make sure you release the or change the brake mode. As yeah, by default, the 45 appears to be set to passenger, because this is more of a passenger loco than a freight loco. They're still coming. You can still hear they are squeaking the brakes a little bit. They're still coming off slowly. But we don't want to wait around. There we go. So not really a long train, but just a really heavy train. And the gradients we're going to be going up as well. I mean, this is like the. There's like two humps on this route. The first one is this bit going up to Standedge tunnel. That's sort of the first up and over, and then after Huddersfield you go Batley, and then you go up and over into, I think it's Morley tunnel, and then back down into Leeds. But this is like the main climb. So fingers crossed we will make it. Should be alright. Nice and steady. Speed will go up in a second. Should do. Basically, as soon as we're clear of that tunnel, we'll start speeding up more. So it's still 15 at the moment. 15 or 20. The trouble is with this train, there's no train length. So whereas in the shed, the 66, you can click the button which will calculate when the back of the train passes the, well, basically coming into the tunnel. On this train, you haven't got that. So I'd say probably once we're on the, well, once we can see the end of this tunnel, we should be alright to just hammer it. And top speed will be 60 miles an hour. as we are a freight service. Very, very dark. Very dark. I mean, this is how it's meant to be. Whereas on some of these more modern routes, the lighting like comes through where it's just not dark in tunnels. I mean, this is very much pitch black, which is good. Right, ready? Here we go. Let's fire her up. The speed definitely has gone up now. Is it 40 or 45-ish? Still complete. Where's the end of the tunnel? It does sort of go around this one. Hang on, there we go. I can see the end now. It really does go around in there. And I think there's 2 stations, but there's Mosley. Is it Mosley, Greenfield, and then Standedge Tunnel. And on the other side of Standedge Tunnel, you've got Marsden, and then we sort of go down. And there's another one as well. There's what's the other station? Oh, there's another station between Marsden and Huddersfield. Is it Slaythwaite? Potentially Slaythwaite. It's already struggling a bit out of here. It's going to struggle all the way up to Standedge Tunnel. Come on, 45, you can do it. Should have probably done it in the 40, really. The 40 might have done a bit better up here. It's not really picking up speed, is it, really? This is full power. And this is a late summer's day, so doing this in winter, good luck. There are occasions where you literally can get stuck. If you do like heavy snow, blizzard, a freight run, you're not making it. Hats off if you do make it. Well, we're going about 23 now, so we are picking up speed slowly. But so yeah, this is the Northern Trans-Pennine route, Leeds to, or Manchester Victoria to Leeds. It's one of the quite old routes now in the game. This one came out in, well, for console at least, I think it was January 2019, because you could weirdly pre-order this route. Hang on, let me just double check, see if that's all working fine. No, but I always forget to test this, just to make sure it's all catching up alright. Yeah, it should be alright. Right, bear with, I'm going to make sure that's running okay. Actually, well, no, because I know, no, should be alright, should be fine. Head up to make sure it's running smoothly. Hold on, this is like a test. Yeah, that's fine. This is the 4K capture card. Like sometimes it like can't keep up with the console screen, so the playback gets a bit laggy. But it appears to be alright, so that's good. Yeah, one of the older routes in the game, so as you can see, it does look a bit. It does look a bit old now. But, I mean, this is one of the original sort of TSW. You know how the routes look like. And this route you could even pre-order. You could pre-order this route on console. I remember coming home from school one day back in, hang on, no, yeah, 2018, December 2018, coming back from school. I think it was one of the first days or one of the last days before the Christmas holiday. And like this popped up and you could pre-order it. I mean, you could pre-order a DLC. Which I don't think they ever did again, apart from maybe Rush Hour, where you could pre-order. But that was more sort of a new, almost like a new game, sort of. Lovely. Yeah, it's quite crazy to think sort of how, I mean, old TSW was getting. I mean, I think the first sort of one you could play was in 2016, autumn 2016, so that's 9 years ago. That was coming up to 9 years ago. I think it was CSX Heavy Haul. You could sort of beta test, sort of test it out, and that was October, November 2016. So yeah, it's in the grand scheme of things, it is quite an old game. We're doing about 26 now. It's still struggling. Probably a double header would have been alright. What's this one? This one is, yeah, Mosley. Let's get to this side actually. Someone waiting here. And for the rumbles on the controller as well, which is quite cool. '80s. I mean, I think this one's set in 1982. I think this one. So sort of, yeah, the railways were quite dilapidated, falling apart. You know, sort of, well, recovering from the beaching cuts, which are what 15, 20 years prior. So basically all of the 80s routes in the game, and maybe, well, West Coast Man and Overshafte's not too bad, but yeah, everything just looks like it's falling apart. In need of regeneration. There's our assistant there. Hello. Is that? Don't look at me. I'm looking at the scenery. The thing is, what was the job of the second man? Like, there's a lot of sort of the old. I suppose here you had steam trains, you had the driver, you had the fireman, but then when diesel trains first came in, you had the driver, but then you still had the second man. You had the second man, which I suppose were probably a lot of ex-firemen's. What was their job? Just sort of sit there, enjoy the scenery, I suppose. I suppose they'd probably be what. Almost acting as like a guard, I suppose. Probably doing the uncoupling, the coupling, sort of letting the driver know all the information about the train. Yeah, what was the job of the secondman when they sort of first came about? Well, I suppose literally it would have been doing the dirty work for the driver. Obviously nowadays you don't get secondmen on freight runs. It's doing alright at the peak. This is the class 45 peak, this train. So I am going to quickly, bear with me everybody, I will do it, and I'm going to quickly turn off the capture card. I can see it lagging a bit, but now it's fine. Just basically needs to be turned off and turned back on again. Very bizarre. 4K is confusing. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it being in 4K. I mean, if you're watching on TV, which I know a lot of our viewers do watch on TV, in fact, I can actually pull up the statistics for that, which is quite cool. Or the analytics, if it loads. Audience, I think that would be what it's on. Don't have to worry about the speed. I think the next speed drop's 45, and that's coming into Standedge Tunnel. Let's have a look. Yeah, TV. Most of you are watching on TV. 38.6%. Mobile phone is 28.1%, computer 20%, tablet 12%. It gives you so much in-depth sort of, and then unknown is the rest. That's weird though. So that's interesting. So even though there's more people watching on TV, you make less money than people watching on mobile phone. Does that mean there's like more ads on mobile phone? Bizarre. cool though. So if you're watching on TV, which I know a lot of people do watch on TV and probably do have 4K TVs, whack your settings up. Hopefully you are enjoying the differences. Yeah, when we did HD videos, when I watched on my new TV, it was like, oh, yeah, a bit sort of blurred, but now it looks crisp. Through Greenfield, I think this one is. Still struggling a bit up here. We'll be alright. $30 miles an hour. I mean, we should be able to go fast, obviously, on the downhill though. So it's just this bit up to Standedge tunnel, which I think is still one of the longest tunnels in the game. Well, for UK routes. Yeah, for UK routes, I think it is still one of the longest tunnels. I think it's about 2.5, 3 miles long. It goes on for quite a bit. Slowly, very slowly picking up speed. We're going about 31 now. Great. Slowly but surely. But yeah, hopefully it's running alright. Do let me know in the comments. Is the video do comment below, is it running alright? Is it smooth? Because I mean on my screen it's 60 FPS. And this is coming to you from the PS5 Pro as well. Yeah, it shouldn't be too far off Standedge tunnel now. And after that we can go a little bit quicker as we head down the hill. Got a bit of a viaduct here, sort of climbing up the side of the valley. Let's try and get a nice photo on here as well. Yeah, let's try and get a nice photo. See, these far away shots never look as good on Train Sim World as opposed to Train Sim Classic. On there they always look quite good, but on TSW close-up shots tend to be better. Now we'll turn the brightness up a bit as well, just because this route is dark, as it's one of the older ones. Get one more as well. On this side, bit of rotation on it. Yeah, we'll do. That's our shots for this video. So I'm trying out different thumbnails. We've had the same thumbnail for so long, so it's just like trying out different ones. There's just like a feature on YouTube where you can like test thumbnails. I think it's up to 3 thumbnails you can test at once, and it just picks the best one, which is handy. Then opposite us you've got the canal as well, which also goes into a tunnel. In fact, it is the same set of tunnels it goes into. Some really cool videos on YouTube if you look up Standedge Canal Tunnel. Loads of locks to get up there as well. As the canal goes up. Yeah, the thing what killed off the canal is the railway. Some amazing, I mean, railways are amazing how they were built, but also canals as well when you think about it. They were built hundreds of years before. And I suppose almost have the same sort of laws as the railway. In fact, you know, it has to be near enough flat. But I suppose a canal, it can't be a little bit up. It literally has to be flat. I mean, water's not gonna just stay still if it's on a bit of a gradient. It's gonna run away. So I'd say the building of canals is almost as impressive as railway building. But obviously back they would have had even less tech. It literally has to be completely level. Whereas, you know, railways can get away with a bit of an incline because, you know, it's not gonna. I mean, the water's gonna just run off, isn't it? If there's even a little bit of a gradient. You got all the locks and stuff like that. Very impressive. Oh, in fact, is that where the canal goes into the tunnel then? What's this here? Oh no, that's not where the. Where's the canal gone? The canal's just vanished. Oh, the canal. Oh, that is the canal. Okay. Well, it should go into a tunnel. Well, this is Standedge tunnel. Actually, I'm going to turn the light on in here because it goes on forever. And you think you're almost there, but that's just that it hasn't loaded in yet. So in about 10 minutes, we'll be at the end of this tunnel. Well, maybe not quite that long, but in about 2-3 minutes. You're in here for quite a while. And I think out the other end it's about 40 as you go around into Marsden. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks all for staying in. It is all much appreciated. What's everyone's favourite memory of playing this route? Or maybe you haven't got it. I mean, if you haven't got it, is this your first time seeing this route? I think the last time we did it was about a year ago, when Train Sim 5 would just come out. The trouble is with these old routes that they do look quite dated now. So you play them and it's like, it's not as fun. I mean, they're still fun, but not as fun as, you know, going on, say, ATS Mac or on West Coast Mail and Overshap, which is sort of probably the most comparable route to this one in terms of scenery, etc. Another train coming through there. It's probably a 101. I think it's a 101. See the little destination light, blind light. Which, I mean, if you do a stopper on here, it's about an hour and a half. So they're long old runs on here. And the fast runs are about 1 hour, 10 minutes. Right, let's take off the power for the first time since leaving Stalybridge. Let's give the loco a bit of a rest. It should sort of level. It should almost be leveled out now in the tunnel. So we're going to lose speed because of all the weight behind us, but should be okay just to sort of coast it. In fact, that's what I would say. That's probably quite a bold claim. I was going to say we might not even need to power up for the rest of the run. We should just be able to leave it as it is now. As after Marsden, it just goes down quite steep. All the way to Huddersfield. And I think the speed limit also goes up to about, is it 65 after Marsden? Of course we can only go 60. And I think modern day it's like 80. As is the modern day version of this route on Train Sim Classic, the Huddersfield line. Which is a bit of a weird one because the route's set modern day, but then the trains you get with it are from the 90s. For sort of licensing reasons. We're almost at the end of the tunnel, almost. it takes a blooming while. We are almost there. Haven't really lost much, but we're going about 39 now. So yeah, barely lost any speed so far. Cool. Quickly on the phone. Bit unrealistic for 1982. Well, you probably would have. I mean, most drivers probably would have a radio in the cab. I doubt you'd just be sat here in silence. You probably would have like the radio going or whatever. Probably having a fag as well in here. Or cigarette. If you look at a lot of sort of images from sort of cabs from the 90s into the noughties even, if you do have the driver sat there, little radio next door as well, probably blasting the latest tunes, and yeah, having a cigarette in the cab. Whereas nowadays you probably couldn't get away with having a radio in the cab. It's all the safety systems and stuff like that. And there you go, we're out of Standedge Tunnel. It takes a while, but we're there. I did like that. I did have to power up just a little bit there. We get another shot actually. Actually, I don't like the walls in the way there. If that wall wasn't there, it would be lovely. Now we'll leave it. Then we go through Marsden. That's a collectible there, believe it or not. That massive tree trunk there is a collectible. So I know a fair few people have gone through the painstaking task of stopping at each one and picking it up or collecting it. I don't think I've got any. Because I don't really do collectibles on here. Same with like mastery, medals, points. I don't do them. Is that the terminating service? There's one service which terminates at Marsden. Oh, it is the one, yeah, that one terminates too. Yeah, collectibles and stuff, I don't really tend to, unless they make a big difference, like, you know, some of the realistic maps and posters, which actually do make a nice difference, I might go and collect. But apart from that, I don't really do collectibles. I just like getting in the train and driving it. And Huddersfield as well, that's sort of what I like to do on this game. I know some people literally just all out for the collectibles, all out for getting a platinum medal. What satisfies me on this game is driving Huddersfield. Love it. I don't know, what does everybody, yeah, what's your, not kick, yeah, what do you play the game for? As in, when you're driving one of these services, are you thinking, oh, I need to get a platinum medal? Are you thinking, oh, I need to get loads of points? Are you just trying to tick off all of the services? Like, what do you sort of, what do you play for? Do you play Huddersfield? Is that what you like doing? Maybe you play with the HUD on, but just don't really care about points, you just want to drive. Not going to bother accelerating, because we should pick up speed fairly quickly now. Usually by the time I apply power, we'll be at the speed limit. Nice. The thing is, do we turn motion blur on or off? It's a weird one. The motion blur on or off. If you want to do that, I think it's Control F2. It's Control F2. You can do it on console as well. Because I mean, realistically, at speed, if you look out the window, there is a bit of a blur. So I suppose motion blur probably is best to have on. So otherwise, it's sort of like that. Don't know. 55 now. So I'll get a little bit of breakage on now. Just to keep us at a good speed. But yeah, all downhill now to Huddersfield, and then before Huddersfield you've got a big tunnel, 2 tunnels actually. And I think it stands like 15 miles an hour at the end of the tunnel. So you go in at about 40, 50, and you've got to be down to 15 by the end. Here's, I think this is Stalybridge. Yeah, Stalybridge, this one, sort of a funny name, Stalybridge. Tiny little platform. Over another big bridge, which I might try and get some photos on because the sun is in a much better place. So it'll look a bit lighter, which is always good for thumbnails. So don't mind me, just getting a few photos, a few snaps. There's another one of those log collectibles. So the next station along is Huddersfield. But nice to be back on Northern Trans-Pennine. I don't think we'll do it again anytime soon. It's not really one of those routes I really enjoy. Mostly because it's just dated now. It's yeah, quite an old looking route. And most of the services are like an hour plus. But some of these freight runs are about, you know, half hour or so. What other old routes should we check out? I think someone wanted, no, we did Maine's Best Up Barn fairly recently. Maybe Tees Valley? Tees Valley might be a good one to do. You can do that in a 37 as well. Or a 101. Or a 20 or a 31. Get back in those. Might be good to do. Again, hopefully it's running for you, running smoothly for you guys. Sometimes you just look at the playback and it's a little bit, just a little bit laggy, like micro lag. And we should come into a cutting before the tunnels as well, and that's sort of your giveaway that you're coming up to Huddersfield. And like the 37, I think it's quite a lot of these sort of era of locos, sort of 1960s. They're based off of US locos, hence the reason why it's like this. Quite similar to that of what the Santa Fe stuff, basically the old US locos of the time. They're sort of a similar-ish design to them. Nice viaduct here. So sort of the outskirts of Huddersfield. Don't think there's any more stations beforehand. No, it said, yeah, 26 minutes this one. I'd imagine it's been more than that. But then that's the AI driving, who probably go literally full whack, brakes, they probably emergency. So we're not the AI. We're not as smart. Right, let's pop that down. There's another 45 with a passenger service. And I think they also continue past, because it says obviously on the game it's Manchester to Leeds. But I think after Leeds they actually continue, but I don't think it ever says actually where they go. You know, where would they go past Leeds? Maybe like York or somewhere like that. There's the 50. And then we're into one of 2 tunnels. sort of opens up in the middle where there's a junction, I think, for the line to Sheffield. I think is the Pennine line. And then by the end of the second tunnel we need to go at about 15. Which, yeah, not the longest either, so... And still going downhill here as well, just to make things a bit trickier. Down to about 25 now. And then it comes around, opens up, and you're at Huddersfield Station. Literally straight out the tunnel into the station. Near enough. Cool. Single yellow. I think is the next signal before we come out the end of the tunnel. I've got a little bit of power here. So make sure we do keep moving. Going about 5 miles per hour at the moment. Doesn't look like it. Feels like we're going a lot slower, but it is 5 miles an hour. I don't know what the next signal is now. Maybe is it before the end of the tunnel? I doubt we would have a red. We're probably running late. It's got me thinking now, do we have to stop before the end of the tunnel? Nice and steady. We are going about 2 miles an hour now. We haven't stopped just yet. It's very slow. Okay, there isn't a tunnel before the end. Good. There it is, here's Huddersfield. Quite a nice looking station. Now where's it going to throw us? Into the yard? Looks like it. Now that was some heavy freight there across the Pennines on Northern Trans-Pennine. And also this is also using the BR Heavy Freight Pack DLC, because if you get it, well, the first time you get this route you won't have any freight services, whereas with the BR Heavy Freight Pack it gives you the Class 40 and the Class 08 for this route, and well, freight services. Not ready to stop yet. Come on, keep going, keep going. So we're going further on. That signal is... That's not for us, no. That's for that platform there. Hang on, actually. No, we got a position light signal there at the end. Yeah, there's a position light signal. I don't know how far it wants us to go down. Oh, just here. Okay, well that works. That wasn't too bad, 38 minutes in the end. But yeah, that is going to be it, everybody. For, oh, we are fully in here. Where did it want us to go then? Yeah, the red's like down here, I think. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. Links can be found in all of the usual places: Discord, PayPal, merch store, as well as UK departure boards, etc. See you all and take care. Bye guys.